Your doctor lied to you about Viagra and it's quietly making your ED worse. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why the pill your doctor is prescribing is a trap and why young men are being pushed into it more than ever and what's actually causing your ED that no one is telling you about. If you're considering Viagra or any type of pill or you're already on it, you need to watch this video before taking another one. Now, I've gone over 500 plus days on NoFap and even cured my own ED without any pills, supplements, or prescriptions. Now, everything I'm about to share with you is from experience. Now, number one, pills don't fix the problem. This is a huge one, right? Because we have to remember what pills are there to do, right? Pills are a band-aid to the problem. They're not going to fix everything, right? They're not going to solve all your problems, but they're there to be a quick fix, right? Which is why so many people run to these things. And think about it in general, right? Who wants to go and put in a ton of work to try to fix their problem when you can just take a pill and it fixes everything, right? But you have to remember the long-term vision, right? And some of these pills, right, that you see, they don't address why you have ED, right? It just forces a response. And again, it's a band-aid on the problem, right? And you could take this thing for 10, 20, 30 years, right? And what you have to understand is that you'll still have the same underlying problem because it's not fixing anything, right? It's just this temporary solution that you can keep taking, keep taking, keep taking. But the issue is you're never actually getting to the underlying root cause to actually fix your problem for good. And if you haven't heard, right, having ED is a huge sign. And they say if you have ED, there's a huge percent chance, I think it's over maybe 40 or 50% chance that you end up having some type of heart attack in the future. Now, you don't have to believe me. Go look up this stat for yourself. But even when I heard that, I was shocked. I'm like, it shows you have some type of health issue going on. If you don't address it, you're going to be in trouble very soon. Now, number two, the danger isn't the side effects, it's the dependency. Now, I was thinking about this earlier, right? And I'm like, man, there's so much information out there, right? About, oh, these things have side effects, these things have other side effects, right? Maybe you don't want to take this. And that is important. It's important to know the side effects, right? Because most of these different pills, right, nothing comes without its downsides, right? Things that potentially could happen, even if it's a slim chance, sure. But then you have the other side of this, right? Which is the dependence on what you're taking, even if it does nothing, right? I'm going to give you an example. So if you guys have seen, they do these type of experiments where there's two different groups, right? And one group will get a placebo pill and another group will get an actual pill to change something. Let's say it's for a headache, for example. Now, what's crazy is that both groups will take the pill, and when you tell both groups that they took a pill for their headache, they'll actually both see changes. They'll both say, oh yeah, I don't have a headache anymore. That pill worked. And it's crazy how powerful your brain is in convincing you that, you do something, you take a pill, and it has these psychological effects that no one likes to talk about, right? Especially, anyone that's going to make money off of you taking this pill, right? And once your brain does this, it makes this relationship between the pill and your performance. You're cooked. You're cooked because you start to doubt if you can even perform naturally. And that's huge. That's a huge problem because you have to understand, right? Your ability to perform, right, is definitely tied into your ability to believe in yourself, right? Just being able to, be a man, right? Have your testosterone, believe that you're a healthy person. That literally can affect how you perform. And you see how powerful the mind is, right? Because if we tell ourselves something, over and over again, we start to believe it. Those beliefs affect our actions and literally affect, how we show up and perform in our daily life. right? And that's the trap that no one wants to tell you about, right? You're building this mental dependency that is even harder to break, right, than the ED itself, because sure, you're stacking problems on top of one another. So you started with a performance issue, but now you're adding even more to the plate, which makes this situation even harder for you. Now, if you're getting some value from this video, man, please like the video. We're trying to blow up this channel to 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to see the channel grow and you're gaining value from these videos, man, please like this video. Now, number 3, young men are being targeted like never before. And this is something I found very interesting, right? So I was just watching a stream. It was about sports, right? It was a basketball game going on. And I'm watching the stream, and one thing that I see is all of a sudden, right? And I don't watch TV often. I'm not a huge TV guy. I start to see that they're having so many commercials on the TV for things like Blue Chew or Hims or I think Rose Sparks is another one, right? And I was shocked. I was like, this is insane. There are so many ads that they're showing about this issue. And what that tells me is that the numbers are increasing, right? Especially for people who are on streams, because they're targeting their ideal customer. And these companies know that young men and just the increase, right, are desperate to solve this problem, right? And there's nothing wrong with having, a solution to your problem, but it just shocked me how frequently you see these commercials when something like, Viagra. I don't believe they made commercials for that. I don't remember them, at least, but it's kind of crazy to see how the increase is happening, right? Because they know why these things are happening. They know about the corn increase, right? That men are dependent on this. And the prescription rates for young men, especially under 40, have skyrocketed. They've skyrocketed, right? And, you have to understand that when things like this do happen, it's a sign of the times, right? And it's a sign of the society that we live in. And a lot of times, the unhealthy lifestyles that a lot of young men are having, right? And some don't know any better, right? A lot don't know any better. And we're not really taught, right, how to deal with this problem. What are the causes? What are the solutions? What I need to watch out for? None of this, right? So it's important to educate yourself, and it's a good thing that you're watching this video and are able to focus to actually take a step to improve your life instead of staying stuck like the next dude who has the same problem but won't even try to educate himself on how to fix it. Now, number 4, the real cause of young men's ED is being ignored. Now, I saw this stat that 1 in 4 men, right? So that's 25% of men under 40 are dealing with ED. That is insane. And even if you see and look online at other, doctors and other people doing interviews, there's a lot of young men coming in that are dealing with, this ED problem. And it's a huge shift from just a couple years ago, right, where it was only older guys. This was only an older man's issue. Now, what happened, of course, right, is the internet, right, when high-speed internet, when phones came out, all of these things, it allowed this younger generation, right, to have unlimited access to the high-speed adult content, right? And there's no restrictions on it. That's the thing, right? The state, the government, they are not getting involved in any of this, right? And I will be honest, I'll say this. There are some states that try to ban, the adult content, try to ban some of these websites. But again, right, it's going to be very hard, and you really should not, as a man, have to depend on, the government to help you control your habits, right? Something about that just doesn't seem right, right? It's your responsibility for your daily actions. And to be honest, if the government is going to put some type of limitation, you're probably going to find a way around it, right? An addiction is strong. And when you're addicted to something, it doesn't matter what else is going on. You will find a way to, to get that next hit. Let's be honest, right? And when you get all of this dopamine at such a high level, it makes real world interactions and performing, when it comes down to that time, way less interesting, right? And it just doesn't hit the same. It's not the level of dopamine because, of course, the corn is considered a super stimuli, which jacks up all your dopamine levels, and then you're unable to perform, right? And then it's this cycle where you have this easy access, you go back to it, you don't know how to break the cycle, and you're stuck, right? Wondering, man, how can I actually fix this problem for good, right? And that's where a lot of men find themselves just struggling in. Now, number 5, your doctor has financial incentives you don't see. Right, now this may be a hot take for a lot of people, but you have to understand, right? The whole medical system, right? They make money when you're sick, right? Let's just be honest, right? They're gonna make more money when you're sick, right? You have all these different, diseases and things, the big C, right? That, what do they say? They still don't have a cure for it, right? But they're making way more money if they keep you sick, right? It's the bottom line, right? And if you don't think that, these institutions and these doctors, right, don't get any type of kickback from either referring you to a place or also, having some type of relationship with these pharmaceutical companies, you're crazy. You got to do a little bit more research, right? And especially in the States, right? And some of certain countries, right? Maybe the UK, the States, some of these other countries, right? What happens is that this system, right, is built on keeping you sick, right? Giving you pills and not actually solving the root cause, right? And if you go to the doctor, a lot of times they'll just look at the symptoms you have. They're not really focused on trying to get the root cause and helping you fix your problem. And if you've never heard of, there are certain doctors also that are out there that are naturopathic, I believe they're called doctors, which try to solve the root cause of your problems. So it's interesting how you see the differences here. And it doesn't mean that every doctor is lying to you. I want to be very clear about that. But it means you need to be aware of what your doctor is prescribing to you, what they want you to do, and think for yourself, is this actually in my best interest? Should I get a second opinion, right? But you always have to think for yourself in these situations. And I am by no means I'm not telling you to not listen to your doctor, but please think for yourself. Now, number 6, ED is mental and physical. Now, what you have to understand is pills only address one side of this, right? Because what happens is, especially when we're talking about, the Cialis, the Viagra, all of these things, performance comes down to mental and physical, right? And even when we talk about ED, there's psychological and physical ED. So someone can have a literal physical problem that they need to have fixed, or it can be a mental problem, maybe performance anxiety, things of that nature, right? And pills tend to affect the physical side because if you've seen, right, there are people who will, especially, younger dudes who would take Viagra, and what happens is they're actually unable to still perform, right? Which shows you how powerful the mind is. So we're past just, addressing the physical side of things. This is literally, a huge mental barrier, right? And we talked about it. Once you get on that cycle of believing that these pills actually improve your performance, you're going to have a very tough time. Make it even harder for you to really perform how you want to perform. And of course, naturally, right? And you can't take more pills and expect this to fix your problem. That's the thing, right? And it's crazy because I can't believe I forgot the honey packs as well, right? The honey packs is a huge one, right? Where a lot of people take the honey packs, they go to the gas station, do all of these things, and again, you're just putting a Band-Aid on the actual problem. So you have to keep that in mind. It's just a Band-Aid. Now, number 7, pills put you in fight or flight mode when it's time to perform. This one right here. Now, once you build that dependency, right, and you kind of have that attachment to where pills and pills and performance go hand in hand, what happens is when you don't have a pill, your brain is going to wonder. It's going to ask itself, can I actually perform without this? And regardless if you can or can't, having that anxiety and that questioning in the back of your head, I'm telling you, you're going to think negatively about your situation, right? You're going to think negatively if you can even, fix this problem that you have, right? And that builds up over time, because the longer you've taken it, right, and then you want to take a break from it and see how you do, it's just going to be in the back of your mind, and it makes things even worse, right? It literally makes you dependent on something that, if you did a little bit more research, spend a little bit more time trying to address your problem, you may actually be able to fix on your own, right? And you end up not only stacking another problem, but you end up creating the problem the pill was supposed to solve. Isn't that crazy? The fact that you were trying to solve ED, right? But then you take this pill that only temporarily does something, and when you take it away, you're actually even in a worse position than when you started, right? So don't get played. Don't get played by the system, right? Telling you that you need all these different things. Remember that performance, right, is up to you, right, in your habits, right, in your lifestyle. So don't fall into the trap that a lot of people do, a lot of men do, that you need these pills or these performance enhancers. Now, number 8, the real fix is harder but permanent. Now, of course, the real fix is addressing the root cause of a lot of these things, right? Now, you can look at things like corn, right? Your overall lifestyle, blood flow, your mindset going into this, right? The performance anxiety. But it takes more effort than just swallowing a pill. So understand that although you may be getting away with it right now and you think that this pill is gonna change everything for you, I guarantee you're gonna end up worse than when you started, right? So do not continuously take those, and do your research, right? Don't listen to me. Do your own research for yourself and make an educated guess, right? But you only have to do it once, right? You only have to break this cycle one time, and then you're free from it. And remember, pills are a short-term band-aid, right? But real recovery for this problem is a long-term identity shift, right? It's changing who you are into a person who can perform consistently. Now, if you learned something new from this video, man, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click this next video on the screen. You won't want to miss it. If you're struggling with ED, click this video right here. Click it now, click it now, click it now.